So, I've been getting many questions and comments regarding the posts I've been making on Facebook and other social media platforms, as well as the videos I've uploaded here on YouTube regarding Rooster Teeth. Certain questions such as, why are you doing this? Why should we care about a major company like Rooster Teeth lying to its followers? They're still making money off their stuff anyway. None of this stuff will matter in the end because nothing is going to change. The game was bad already, so why would anyone expect anything good to come from it? So today, I'm going to be addressing all of these concerns and more. But before I get started, I want to make something perfectly clear here. This is not an attempt at bashing Rooster Teeth, at least not an intentional one. I don't hate them. I don't hate the people involved with them. I just hate their work ethic. I am just invoking my right not only to freedom of speech, but also my right as a consumer to express displeasure with how a product I have purchased is being handled, as well as my right as someone who has at one point or another supported Rooster Teeth in some way, be it purchasing their merchandise or viewing their content. Also, most of my points may be all over the place because when I was writing this all up, I just wrote what I felt, so please don't criticize me too harshly. And if it's hard to understand, comment down below. I will try my best to explain whatever it is that you are having trouble understanding. Now that we've got that out of the way, if you've seen any of the recent videos that I posted about Rooster Teeth, I made it very clear that I am not happy with the events of late concerning Grimm Eclipse and the blatant lie about the campaign content and new game mode content that they had promised 3 months ago at RTX. If you have me added on Facebook or you're a member of the RWBY Republic group on Facebook, you know that I'm undeniably upset about how Rooster Teeth has taken a beautiful project created by the late Monty Ohm, the creator of RWBY, and has perfectly ruined everything about it. When I say perfectly ruined, I know that's kind of, an oxymoron, but they have just devastated it to the point where nothing in the show matters anymore. But even with all that, actually, you know what? No. Because of all that, I feel that what Rooster Teeth is doing to its fans is unacceptable. Particularly the way that they are lying to their fans and promising new content for Grimm Eclipse only to get people to buy a game that has been dead in the water for the last couple of years because they have chosen not to add any new content or add anything worth playing. In all honesty, the game itself could have been better. On top of that, they spend most of their Grimm Eclipse time advertising sales for the game instead of actually putting in work to improve it. You know what? I don't hate that the game is bad. I hate that it has potential that's being wasted, and the fans who concede in the game and are having fun with it have to suffer so much from the lies that they tell. I already owned the game, so I wasn't really affected by this, but to think that people will most likely never come to this game or come back to it because Rooster Teeth is lying to its customers is virtually upsetting. It's just unforgivable. Which is why I advise that we all support Rooster Teeth in the one way change can truly be brought about. Taking a stand and voicing our displeasure with how they are half-assing everything RWBY related. Now, I know most of you will not agree with me with this next part that I talk about, but I feel that it's perfectly necessary. I feel that this is what it has come to. I think that the only way that we can truly let our displeasure be voiced and let them know that we are not happy with what they are doing to our content, our community as a whole, who support RWBY, who love RWBY Grimm Eclipse, who are indifferent to it at best, and even those who hate it for that matter. I think what we need to do right now is to refuse to buy their merchandise, refuse to view their content, and stop giving them money until they decide to adapt and improve on their current resources, their current talents. They need to focus on doing better. I believe Roosterteeth has the potential to put out higher quality content, not only for Grimm Eclipse, but also for RWBY as a whole. However, by us just mindlessly giving them money each month to watch their shows and get early access stuff and the private merchandise, well, not really private, I guess that's not really the word that you would use for this, the pre-order act, god damn it, I don't really know how to word this, but the stuff, their merchandise that can only be received, I caught myself that time, received by paying money on their Patreon. We are just displaying tolerance for half-assed work. They know that whatever they put out there, they will get money for, regardless of how bad it is. Why? Because their name is attached to it. Now, obviously, they won't make something deliberately unwatchable or unplayable, depending on the content. But they also aren't going to put 110% into their work. God damn it, I just cannot read properly today. Well, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to give you a small comparison. I'm sure by now all of you have heard of Team 4-Star. If you haven't, I suggest you go check them out because they make amazing content. TFS is universally loved. It's a YouTube channel that has transformed into a business with various branches of content, much like Roosterteeth. But when you look at the two, here's where the difference starts to form. Not only have I yet to find a single person who has said anything bad about TFS, I myself have found great joy in pretty much everything I've seen from TFS. In fact, I have a video in a playlist called the RWBY videos, but the video itself is called H is for Hope. No, that's the F is for Family thing. I have a playlist with the TFS, the Machina Bridge, translated into RWBY sprites. If you guys want to go check that out, I will put a link in the description. But the audio from those videos comes straight from TFS's Final Fantasy Abridged. I've done 1 through 3 and 6, I believe. I don't know if I did 4. I'll have to double check. But I did many videos based on the audio from their Abridged series for Final Fantasy VII. And you can feel how hard they work on every bit of content they produce. The heart that goes into everything from the Dragon Ball Z and Hellsing Ultimate Abridged series to their Krillin Play stuff. Yes, that's right, they make even Krillin look good by any comparison, really. Even the stuff that couldn't possibly make sense in the original series, they parodied, suddenly makes sense in their abridged versions. To the extent of my knowledge, I don't think they've delved into game designing, but I'm convinced whatever they could come up with would be phenomenal. Roosterteeth, on the other hand, makes their own original content and somehow barely manages to make it work. I admit I haven't seen their other stuff. I haven't seen Red vs. Blue or that new show or movie or whatever it is that they advertise at New York Comic Con. But RWBY, a show that they have pretty much entirely strayed from the original outline of, has pretty much ruined any credibility any character within its universe may have. If you don't believe me, go to YouTube and watch any video by Adele Aka. That's Adele, A-D-E-L, space Aka, A-K-A. Volume 5 was so ill-received, it's gotten the title of Worst RWBY Volume. In fact, everything following Volume 2 has gotten progressively worse and progressively confusing. The show has gotten so bad, I'd argue that the RWBY Chibi series is doing a lot better than the actual show. And if I'm being fairly honest with you, the only real good thing that came out of the Chibi show is not only the fact that Pura is alive again, or I guess not really alive again, more like she never died, but that Cinder is more likable in there than in the actual show. And if you don't believe me, go watch the RWBY Chibi. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. Grimm Eclipse. Where do I begin with this one? Instead of fixing the game crashes and numerous bugs that occur, such as the game crashing if you die at the hardest difficulty, or actually really any difficulty. Now that I think about it, it happens less on easy or normal, but like if you play on Eclipse mode, it's basically just going to crash if you lose. Even if you win, actually, now that I think about it. Instead of fixing all of that, they are giving us new costume DLC and horde maps. Things that we actually don't need. They are trying to push sales on us in order to get us to buy the game, but they're choosing not to improve on it. Which, to me, is the simplest thing ever. I believe that, in this case, it's fire is weak to ice because logic is the rarest form of candy. Great quotes to Trainer Rusty. I love that show. The game itself isn't bad. I would argue that it even has great potential if they try something new with it. In fact, I have a number of great suggestions that could help improve the game while also remaining in their ability to improve upon it. Let's start with the obvious, that new campaign we were all promised. You know, the ones that they promised 3 months ago, but never made good on because lies and not actually wanting to do that. New enemies to fight. We could have Junior's Henchman, the White Fang, a Nevermore. That, in all honesty, should have been in this game to begin with. Like, I'm not gonna hate on the Mutant Deathstalker. That fight was fun, but it's also glitchy AF. Where, for one, Ren's ultimate can't even hit it. Not to mention the fact that I don't know if it's on Eclipse or if it also happens on normal, but sometimes when you hit it enough, it'll start glitching to the point where it's moving super fast and all over the place. To the point where it makes your game lag and then crashes before you even die, which is that's another thing that I have a problem with. They could add more playable characters. I've heard a lot of talk about this. I would want like Raven in the game, Crow in the game, people we've seen fight in the recent volumes, in the previous volumes even. And you know what? Just to make it even more hype-worthy, make them mystery characters that we have to unlock to find out who they are and how they play. Don't like, you could reveal that you're gonna have these mystery hidden challenges or whatnot, and then like we had to then you could get the names or the actual idea of how people feel about those characters as they unlock them. That way it's so much better that way. I mean, look at Duel Links. We have those hidden challenges from 5Ds. People have been struggling to get Luna for some reason. I think it has to do with the fact that Leo's challenge is basically bullshit. But then again, that's neither here nor there. Regular maintenance is to fix bugs in the game. I know that we've already talked about this, but I feel like it should be re-emphasized that the bug fixes need to happen. Primarily the one where the Grimm go invisible, and also the game crashing, obviously. Let's see, what else do we have here? A new missions mode. This can be similar to the rank procedures, but they can be character specific or have specific restrictions or stipulations. For example, play through boots on the ground without using your ultimate, or a ranged attack, or a heavy attack. Or better yet, make it so that you can only do it with 2 people rather than 1. That would be awesome. I would play that. Everyone would play that. Oh, well, maybe not really. More ranks. I know that we just talked about the rank prestiges and whatnot, but rank 10 is kind of low. I mean, I feel like we could go higher than this. And I know that people will agree with me that they would want to play RWBY Grimm Eclipse if there was more initiative to play it. For example, have it at a point where you have to get to a certain rank to unlock a certain character. That, everyone would be behind that, in my opinion. Although, also, I cannot speak for everyone, but I think that everyone would do it. Let us explore Beacon. This could be either a playable map that we can fight Grimm on, let's say post Volume 4. You know, like after Kira dies and the Grimm take over Beacon, we can fight there to like save the school. Or we can just have it as like a playable, like a Monster Hunter World type thing, where we form groups of people online and just chill. Or it could be just a new game mode entirely in which we interact with our classmates and perform tasks or complete missions. Or, better yet, combine the two. I don't know, I'm just listing things off. A villain side, let us play as Cinder and company in a story surrounding them, rather than just playing as the same old characters over and over. Anyway, that's the end of that list. God, that was a lot of talking to do. I know a lot of you are probably thinking that even if we all voiced our opinions, even if we all united under one banner, this will change nothing. But don't you get it? Just because Roosterteeth owns the rights to the game and show doesn't mean that they have all the control. If we all collectively and unanimously, as loud as we can, declare that we will no longer allow Roosterteeth to simply take our money in exchange for this half-assed, lazy work that makes no sense at all when the product is actually finished, eventually they will have to listen to us. Because if they don't, they will lose money until they can no longer ignore our voices any longer. Oh god, why did I put that? That's so weird. They will lose money until they no longer ignore our voices, and that, my friends, will serve as their wake-up call. So, that's going to be the end of this video. We got through a lot of what I wanted to talk about, and even branched off into some other tangents, but that's pretty much the gist of it, folks. That's why I'm doing this. So, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. I want to keep you guys updated. I'm sorry, my words are stuttering, I know. After reading that, I felt kind of winded. But I want to keep you guys updated as to our fight against this lazy work that Roosterteeth is putting out for us. I want to keep you guys up to date on everything that is going on. And I will most definitely keep you guys up to date if there's any new content on their way. Underway. I'm sorry. I gotta end the video. So, make sure you stay tuned, and I'll see you again on the next one.